Linda Howe would say about that. What do you think?
Well, I bet she'd be suspicious.
I don't know. That's outside my area. I do think that there is some evidence that the whole kind of cattle mutilation, or these lights that are seen around farms when these ranches, when this happens, has some relation to this encounter phenomenon. I don't know. They seem to be associated in some way. Mad cow disease, I have no idea.
That's one scary disease, and it might answer some questions. Well, anyway, first-time caller line, you're on the air with Dr. John Mack. Hi.
Hello.
Hello there.
Oh, hi. My name is Leanne, and I'm from Kent, Washington.
Yes.
And I could easily be in one of your books, and I'm reading the second one, The Passport to the Cosmos, and find it very interesting. My question is, I've had interdimensional experiences most of my life, but it wasn't until your abduction book that I realized what was wrong with me. And
it's not wrong with you. Okay?
I'm saying it quite quote, you know. However, I've done a lot of work on myself. I still find it very difficult to get rid of the body trauma. It was pretty traumatic for me, and I still sometimes in certain medical procedures and sexually will start having flashbacks. So do you have any suggestions on how to, even though consciously I know what's going on, my body still goes through the moments and I kind of freak out a little bit?
It's a great question. I'm sure a lot of people listening have the same question. Just for other people's benefit, this is a very physical phenomenon. This is one of the reasons that I took it so seriously, is that people who have these experiences have intense kinds of
it's quite intense
feelings in their bodies. They sometimes will say every cell in my body is vibrating, or they'll feel that they hold some intense energy that has come into them that they don't know what to do about. One of the things you could do is work with, if you know somebody who knows about this encounter phenomenon but also understands body energies, to get them to work with you and to express some way that you can discharge these feelings, express some feelings intensely. You'd have to find someone you trust who knows this field. Or you could, particularly if somebody who does body work, I mean, you can find body workers who can help you.
I've seen a massage therapist for years. She's not, I mean, she knows about the phenomenon. It doesn't seem, does this ever go away? Is this something I'll have to just live with the rest of my life? Or
I think that, yes. I mean, we often, with the people we work with yes, it can
go
be
away.
relieved.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the people we work with find a very great relief in their bodies with relaxation sessions that allow their body, the body, just to react and to express their emotion with the voice, or let their body shake and let the energy pass through and move on. I mean, but you have to find somebody that can do that combination of relaxation and really what I call hold the energy. In other words, really be present to the person as these very intense feelings come through emotionally and physically. And I don't know, where do you live?
I live in Kent, Washington.
Yeah, why don't you write to us and see if we know somebody in your area that might be able to help you. Yeah,
and they definitely have to be familiar with this phenomenon. Otherwise, I don't want to be labeled something else anymore.
Exactly, familiar with the phenomenon and know the body, know body work. I mean, can do physical.
All right, the answer is...
Well, thank you. Can I say something to Art?
Yes, sure.
Oh, I periodically fall asleep listening to your show. Not that it's boring, but it's late. And the last one you had on the shadow people was not a good one to fall asleep with, because as soon as I got into that dream state, I had a big, TV screen with somebody with bright, glowing red eyes.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I apologize.
And I blame you for that one.
All right, well, thank you very much.
It can't be the first time that he's kept people awake.
Or probably influenced the dream state, or worse yet. You mentioned Pamela Stonebrook. And was I criticized when I put Pamela on the air. But I did it for a reason. I did it, A, because I believed her, B, because I think there's a whole lot more sexual activity going on with regard to abduction cases than people are ever willing to talk about.
Absolutely.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. And Pamela is unusual in that she's able to face up to the encounters she's had with these reptilian beings, including the sexual aspect of it, tell the truth about it, take the hits and the criticism and the put downs and all that. She's very gutsy. I've been very impressed with her, and she's. You asked about cases before that have impressed me. She's one of the ones that has been very impressive to me.
Well, there have been, since Pamela, many others. So that's an area that just has been way underexplored. All right, Wildcard Line, you're on the air with Professor Mack. Hello.
Oh, good evening or morning.
Morning, probably.
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call, and
sure.
a belated welcome back.
Where are you, sir?
I'm in Northwest Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, KRMR. I listen to things like this, and I'm reminded of a book named The Population Bomb, if I might date myself. Almost none of it came true, anyhow, any of it that really mattered. The notion of a static planet, that this planet should keep a constant temperature throughout time, seems a little absurd to me. And the last point I'd like to make...
So global warming absurd to you, right?
Not absurd, not totally absurd, but I think that the jury's really still out, and the way that it's presented in mainstream media is that it's etched in stone fact, and I really think the jury's still out.
Actually, that's one of the areas around the environment that the scientists have pretty much closed ranks on and agreed without exception. I mean, there are controversial areas, but that's not one of them. And I think if the polar ice caps really do melt and cities are flooded, I mean that isn't just about having a different temperature.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask a question and make a third point vis-a-vis global warming on my second point. If the ocean levels rose, and wouldn't that create a larger surface area of water on the planet? And wouldn't that larger surface area give off more water vapor and create more clouds, which would reflect light and cause more rain and cause the planet to cool? And then my last point.
Maybe so, but that might be after New Orleans went underwater and a lot of coastal cities disappeared and a few other things that a lot of us would consider unpleasant would occur.
But maybe so. My point being is that the planet may have its own immune system. And the third point being is that...
but it never had to deal with a species like us.
Well, perhaps so. And my third point is that you call for huge government action. And if I might play Harry Brown for a moment, how can you believe that any sort of national, worldwide, global action might be any more effective at stopping global warming than they've been effective at putting out the fires in Yellowstone or putting out the fires in Los Alamos or the war on drugs or the war on poverty or the war on anything else?
Well, I don't remember asking for huge government action. I think this is a far broader matter. It involves all of us, corporations, all our institutions, government included, all of us as individuals. I mean, these problems that we're talking about, I mean, most of the major problems we face, I think you'd agree with this, are created by human beings. I mean, and so they are to be, it's only...
Well, you see, that is where I think he disagrees. He doesn't think that human beings could have an effect on the planet. He doesn't think that any meager little thing we do matches up to anything nature might have in mind.
I never heard that position before.
Listen to Rush Limbaugh.
Huh.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Professor Mack. Good morning.
Good morning, Art and Professor Mack.
Where are you?
I'm sorry, Bob in Austin, Texas.
Okay, Bob.
Professor Mack, would you have any difficulties in entertaining the following, that these individuals, and there's a link I'd like to propose between NDEs and ET experiencers, that these individuals are experiencing something that is real, but that is so overwhelming, outside their vocabulary, outside of any mental paradigms, that it is we who get to paint the picture of the reptiles or Brinkley's Crystal City, or the alternative is insanity.
Well, if I get the thrust of your question,